I found a deal. It's a travel agency, and
Okay.
I'm trying to put a few of those together. I've read through your stuff, and I was looking through it a different way because there's no way to meet their number and with what they're bringing in if I can't add more to it. And it said lease option. But I don't know how to present something like that where I basically say, you can have your salaries. I take it all over because there's enough money in there, but it gives me the year to kind of add the stuff that needs to be added. And I would normally add, but it would take me that year to even come close to their price. I just don't know how to go. What about this idea?
Okay.
And
So if you wanted to kind of explain it, and this is without any thought, so we'll see how rough it comes out. I would just say, hey, look, you guys have already got a whole bunch of commitments for 2025. I've got a lot of things that I think I can do to do for the company. What I'd like to do is effectively buy the company in a way that eliminates all risk for you and also ensures that I'm able to do the things that I want to do. So the way that we typically do that, this is our standard deal, right? The way that we usually do that is that we'll continue to pay you the salaries that you've got right now. We'll take care of all of the things that you've committed to, and I'll have an option to acquire the company for the price that we've talked about 12 months from the day that I come in. And during the time that is between now and when that option expires, I'm going to run the company. So I'm effectively leasing the whole company from you. And the price that I'm paying you is the money that you're taking out of the company currently. How does that sound to you? I think it's pretty easy to explain. Does that seem congruent with what you would feel comfortable saying?
that's exactly what I was thinking of saying. I just didn't know if there's something that maybe I should in a lease option, because I know how to do a lease option on real estate, but you're talking about something that has no tangible things other than a website and some people and all that other stuff. So I
It's just
go,
an option. It's
it's
not
just an
it's
option.
yeah, you don't have to complicate it. I get because there's other moving parts, but it's basically just an option.
Okay. And then they're more likely to get closer to the price that they want if I can do all this. And if I guess if I can't, then I can go hands done.
Well,
So
you can renegotiate,
yeah.
right? So you can say, "Hey, look, I've had a chance to be in it. It's actually a really good deal for both of you in a situation like this because it's they're not likely to get the price because it's not worth what they are trying to get it for. You believe that you can add a lot of value and that, as long as you get some time to work with that before you have the obligation to make the payments. And
Mhm.
so you just agree on the option now. So what you've done is you've protected yourself from adding a whole bunch of value and making the business more valuable, and then you get to pay more for the business because of the work you already did, and you did
Yeah.
that work effectively for free. You get to compensate yourself during the 12-month period by the
Mhm.
amount that you're able to generate over and above what they were taking out before, and they get the protection of being able to get what they were getting. Plus, if you don't pay that, then they get to take it back. The lease, the option ends,
Mhm.
and they have the potentiality and the expectation that at the end of the 12 months, you're going to exercise your option and buy. Otherwise, why would you spend a year there? So I think it's a pretty cool way to deal with this exact kind of situation. And for your benefit, at the end of the day, if you don't think that it's worth the option price that you agreed on up front, you just say, I mean, I'd love to buy it, but the problem is that this didn't happen and this didn't work. So I think I'm not going to exercise the option and you guys can have it back, which is definitely not going to be what they want because they wanted to sell and now they've been out of it for a year. And you're at that point going to come back and say, but it's worth, 80%, or I can do it if you do more seller financing, or I can do it if you do this. And then it's a negotiation, but you're coming in pretty strong positionally for that negotiation.
In a lease option, do we have the ability to move it from, it's located in Pennsylvania. I would want to move the company out of that state. In a lease option, is that something that
Did
happens,
you say that
or
it was all intangibles, or is there an actual location facility?
no, it's all intangibles. They just
Yeah.
have their LLC sitting in Pennsylvania.
I would probably not move it. Normally you would not,
Okay.
certainly if it was a physical thing, but I don't know what the benefit of moving it would be to you to move it from Pennsylvania, unless it's just, well, I'm not in Pennsylvania, so I'd rather not have the company located there. For a
Well,
year, would it matter?
Well, my LLC is in Wyoming, so I didn't know if like taking it under the lease option and dropping it under my business or just leave it as is and say I'm leasing it as is right now for the year.
Lease it through your Wyoming company, and
Okay.
then whatever the charge that your Wyoming company is gonna make to run that is gonna pass through to Wyoming. So it'll be a write-off for the Pennsylvania company and income for the Wyoming company, and it'll be basically the same as if you had moved it, but you won't have
Okay.
had to have
Okay. Got
you won't have to expend negotiating capital to argue for a move while you're also trying to sell a lease option.